So this is the premier women's 8 event at Henley Royal Regatta, the Remenham Challenge Cup, and we have got 2 premier women's crews in this contest. The might of Australia, 2 Olympic champions in that boat, Annabelle McIntyre and Lucy Stephan. They will be very hard to get past as we go down the Australians. A lot of Tokyo Olympians, Bronwyn Cox, Georgie Rowe from the 8, Georgie Patton from the women's 8, Katrina Werry in the stroke seat from the women's 8 that finished 5th in Tokyo. And these are the British women. Well, we've got 2 power-packed athletes in the middle of that boat, Rebecca Short and Rowan McKellar, both 28. They were in the women's 4 in the Tokyo Olympics that finished 4th. Behind the boat of McIntyre and Stephan. And this is a rebuilding project, Mark.
Yeah, I was just about to say that after what happened in Tokyo, we didn't get the success we wanted as a team, as a whole. But obviously the women's 8 wasn't kind of up to scratch and up to speed as we were hoping. This is definitely a rebuild kind of process, project if you want to call it that. And these are the sort of races that, you know, our British women are going to want to see where they are against the Australians. Especially before they head out to Lucerne later in the week. But yeah, this is really looking forward to this one, just see how close it can be. There wasn't much in it in the times, but you never know what happened in those races. So yeah, we'll see how the Brits get on in this one.
These are 2 relatively new crews in terms of the amount of time they've spent actually rowing together in the 8.
Get ready, please.
Annabelle McIntyre, the 25-year-old Australian Olympic champion. So this is the Remenham Challenge Cup for Open Women's 8. Rowing Australia at the top of your picture. Imperial College London and Leander closest to the island side. The 2 crews blast off the start. Who's got the early advantage, Mark?
Yeah, it looks like the Brits have really tried to dictate, jump out quickly, but I don't think there's much in it though. It just the most important thing is it's clean, you're in contact, and no errors or no mistakes in these early stages, because you don't want to disrupt that whole speed.
Heidi Long there, the 25-year-old. She's won all the women's sweep eights at Henley Regatta, the Hambledon, the Town and the Remenham. I think most recently in 2021, last year's regatta. But she's up against a far tougher opponent than the Oxford Brookes and Queen's University Belfast outfit that came second in the final last year. Australia got a handy early lead. They look good, the Australians.
Yeah, they look really racy there. That is definitely them gunning out, just trying to take that early advantage as they come off the island there. They're still moving.
They just seem to have that extra length out forward. They just let the boat come to them a little bit, just at the front end of the stroke. See, they're up at 37, come down from 40 strokes a minute, nearly 20 kilometres an hour the Australians moving at, Mark.
Yeah, they're really moving then. It just seems elastic, like they let it go quickly. They're not holding anything back. They're kind of riding that speed that they've generated early on.
I thought I saw a shout there from Georgie Rowe, the former surf life-saving rower, spotted by John Keogh, who's the coach of this Australian Women's 8. Used to coach in Great Britain, John Keogh. Now he's had great success with Australia, that 4 that won the Olympics in Tokyo. And this Remenham Challenge Cup shaping up to be a great race, but Britain will have to push back. There are the British, Mark.
Yeah, the Brits have kind of come onto their rhythm, I say, slightly earlier than the Australians, and they're definitely, the Aussies just still look like they're tapping, they're moving. They don't want to seem to come off that high cadence.
So Britain in their race rhythm, which will carry them through the middle of the race. Coxed by the extremely experienced Morgan Bain and Williams. She won this event last year in 2021. She's one of the 3 Coxes at British rowing, competing for a place in either the women's boat or the men's boat. Australia on the right of your picture, and the British composite from Imperial College London and Leander Club on the left of your picture. And it is Australia who lead at this early stage of the race. There we see Katrina Werry, the 28-year-old from Mercantile. She was out at the 8 in Tokyo in the stroke seat. Lucy Stephan behind her, fantastic rower Lucy Stephan from Nihil in Victoria. Rose from Melbourne University Boat Club. Georgie Patton in the 6th seat, just anchoring the boat with Annabelle McIntyre. You can see her just tucked there at 5. The figure of Georgie Rowe from New South Wales back in the 3-seat. Bronwyn Cox from University of Western Australia in Perth in 3. Eleanor Price in the 2-seat from Sydney University Boat Club, and Emma Fessy from UTS Harbourfield Club. And wherever you're watching this in the world, if you've stayed up late in Australia to watch this race, we hope you're enjoying this presentation of Henley Royal Regatta and this great race for premier women's 8th event at the regatta, the Remenham Challenge Cup. And it's the women from Australia who have drawn first blood in this first half of the race. We're through the halfway point now, Mark.
Yeah, they've definitely taken that advantage. They've kept moving. They've gone through the kind of Foley marker, so that they're still in charge. They're moving out, and it's really important. We talk about standing contact all the time in this kind of match racing, gladiatorial race that we have at Henley. And this is really important now, because that Australian 8 has just kept inching out over that last 500 metres, and it's important the British 8 really start to stick it or hold them.
This British 8 coached by James Harris. The chief coach is Andrew Randell, the Australian who's come out of that programme, and Britain are now moving back. The women have been doing a lot of intensive paddling, a lot of intensive steady state. What a move by the British 8. Where has that come from, Mark?
That is really impressive. Composure, not being flustered by what was going on beside them, being very clear about the processes they were going to go through as a unit. And that is coming to life right now as they start to put the Australian 8 under pressure. They start to move up in contention, and it looks like they're coming levels.
This will be a sensational turnaround from the Tokyo Olympics if this British women's 8 manages to overturn a boat with the quality of the rowers that the Australian crew has in it. Britain on the left, Australia on the right. There we see, I think, Rebecca Shorten with that blue Imperial top on. 28-year-old Rowan McKellar really shoving it down. And this is the benefit of that training, that tough training they've done under Andrew Randell's training programme, Mark.
Yeah, they said it's been a bit uncomfortable at the start when he came in, but it's paying dividends now when they want to ask those questions about themselves, about the crew, as they keep piling on the pressure and they start to slowly move away from the Australians.
I've never seen a British women's 8 just move as successfully as that. I guess I say never. I guess the 2016 British women's 8 in Rio had that second half move of the course. None of the women in this boat were in that Rio crew, but they have absolutely taken their legacy and moved through the second half of the course, just like the British 8 that took silver in Rio did.
Yeah, that was really impressive. Obviously that silver medal in Rio, but today all these women, they've got a point to prove as well. The 8 hasn't been that good over the last Olympic cycle. They want this to be the lead boat, putting Australia under pressure, and just doing it in that style and fashion that they've done in the first section of the race has been super impressive.
The bow woman Rebecca Edwards, 28, Lauren Irwin, 23, Emily Ford and Esme Booth from the pair that won in Belgrade, Sam Redgrave, Rebecca Shorten, Rowan McKellar, Heidi Long, stroking the boat long, the 25-year-old, and Morgan Bainham-Williams calling out in the cox's seat, wow, this must be sweet. They're coming up to the progress board. There's about 10 strokes to go, and Great Britain are going to win the Remenham. What an amazing turnout. Australia, the favourites, are left in their wake. It's the British crew come down to the finish. Australia charged, but it's too late. Britain have produced a devastating burn in the middle of the course to take the Remenham Challenge Cup. You can see what it means to them. They wouldn't have expected that. Arms in the air from Esme Booth, the 23-year-old. Australia crossed the finish line dejected. Morgan Bainham-Williams taps Heidi Long on the face and hugs her.
Sam, just how significant is that win for the boat?
Oh, it means a great deal. We've been trying to get our women's project to be as strong as we can, and we've obviously been focusing on the 4 and the pair, but we thought we'd come to Henley and just see what we could do as an 8, and I think everyone's just blown away by how quickly we brought it together. We haven't had many sessions in it, and it just felt like each piece, each race we did together, we just stepped on that extra 1-2%. So incredible feeling.
How good is it to get one over the Australians?
I mean, it's always good to get one over anyone. Just to win Henley in itself is amazing. Obviously, I've done a couple of Henley finals, never won, so just, yeah, it was good.
And how does this, how good is this, how much of a boost is this looking at the World Cups and possibly the World Championships at the end of the season?
We're just going to take so much confidence into it. We've already been building confidence as a squad, like we're fitter, we're stronger, we're faster, and every win is just like another yeah, we've got this. We can do it. We can go up against everyone.
And was the atmosphere amazing, supporting the local team?
Yeah, it was, honestly. It's just the whole way along the bank from start to finish. You can just hear everyone yelling, and it really is amazing. And don't get anything like it.